Does Ferrari really have a chance of challenging for the title in 2024? Fred Vasseur says yes, but with one key condition. Before I tell you what factor could change everything, tell me in the comments. Do you think Ferrari will win at least one race this year? Because if this works out, we could see the strongest Scuderia in years. Fred Vasseur has imposed a completely different vision within Ferrari. His approach is based on calm, deep analysis and progressive improvement, in contrast to the previous management, where every good result generated excessive expectations and ambitious statements that were rarely fulfilled. Rather than fueling euphoria, Vasseur insists that the times obtained in the Bahrain test should not be overrated, because the conditions in Melbourne will be completely different. The SF25 has been presented as a practically new car, with changes in almost all key aspects of the design. Ferrari claims the car is 99% different to its predecessor, meaning it is not a simple evolution, but a thorough overhaul of aerodynamics, suspension and engine efficiency. However, in Formula One, changes on paper do not always translate into immediate results on the track. One of the determining factors will be tire management. In Bahrain, Ferrari showed solid performance in race simulations, but Australia represents a completely different challenge. The extreme heat and evolving asphalt in Melbourne can lead to much greater wear than expected. If the team does not manage degradation well, it could repeat the problems of previous seasons, where a lack of consistency in race pace left them without options to fight for victories. Another key point is reliability. Last season, Ferrari suffered several penalties for exceeding the limit of components allowed in the power unit. Although they have worked on optimizing the engine, the big question is whether they can sustain competitive performance without compromising durability throughout the calendar. The key message from Vasseur is that Ferrari cannot rush to conclusions before the first real race. Pre-season testing allows valuable data to be gathered, but it does not replicate the conditions of a Grand Prix weekend, where race strategies, rival pace and on-track decisions define the results. The objective is clear: to assess the true potential of the SF25 in real conditions and make informed decisions about the next improvements. Vasseur seeks to avoid the mentality of empty promises and prioritize progressive evolution, ensuring that Ferrari moves forward with firm steps rather than generating unrealistic expectations that will only increase pressure within the team. Ferrari has undergone a profound change in its working philosophy since Fred Vasseur's arrival. The transformation not only encompasses the development of the car, but also the way the team operates internally. The previous management was marked by a rigid structure, where strategic decisions did not always respond to a detailed analysis of the real situation on track. Vasseur has implemented a more flexible and efficient model, where each area of the team works in a coordinated manner to maximize the performance of the car throughout the season. One of the most obvious changes is in internal communication. Under Mattia Binotto, Ferrari had a culture where errors were pointed out with greater emphasis on solutions. This generated a tense work dynamic, in which engineers and strategists were subjected to excessive pressure that ended up affecting decision-making. Vasseur has eliminated this approach and has opted for an environment where error analysis is used as a tool for growth rather than a source of conflict. This season's car has been developed with a different approach than in previous years. Beyond the aerodynamic and mechanical changes, Ferrari has worked to improve the rating between the data obtained in the wind tunnel and the actual performance on the track. In past seasons, the team faced issues when it discovered that simulations did not accurately reflect the car's behavior in real race conditions. For 2024, new validation processes have been implemented that seek to reduce this gap, ensuring that improvements to the car have a tangible impact on lap times and tire management. The arrival of Lewis Hamilton to the team adds another determining factor. His experience in fighting for championships and his ability to work with the engineers in the development of the car can make a difference in Ferrari's performance. Unlike previous seasons, where the responsibility of guiding the project fell mainly on Charles Leclerc, the team now has a driver who has proven capable of squeezing every technical detail to gain advantages on the track. The combination of Leclerc's aggressiveness with Hamilton's strategic precision represents a turning point for the team, provided that internal management manages to maintain a balance between the two without generating unnecessary conflicts. Another key aspect is the way Ferrari will approach the season in terms of car development. In previous years, the team used to introduce improvements in a reactive way, responding to the advances of its rivals rather than following a well-defined roadmap. Vasseur has changed this strategy, and now the team works with a progressive evolution plan, ensuring that each update is supported by concrete data and not by hasty decisions. The challenge for Ferrari in 2024 is not limited to the speed of the car alone. but to the team's ability to execute effective race strategies and maintain consistent development throughout the year. The organizational structure has changed, the team's mentality is different, and the car has been designed with a renewed philosophy. The question that remains to be answered is whether these changes will be enough to turn Ferrari into a genuine title contender. The big question surrounding Ferrari in 2024 is whether it will finally be able to compete on equal terms with Red Bull and Mercedes for the championship. In terms of history and resources, the Scuderia has everything it needs to return to the top, but success in Formula One does not depend only on tradition or budget, but on the ability to adapt, consistency in performance and strategic decision-making throughout the season. The SF25 car is a complete evolution compared to its predecessor, with a design that seeks to correct the weaknesses that affected Ferrari in previous seasons. However, it is not just about building a fast car, but about developing a solid concept that is competitive on all types of circuits. In recent years, Ferrari has shown inconsistent performance, excelling on some tracks but suffering on others due to problems with tire degradation and a lack of aerodynamic efficiency in certain conditions. One of the factors that will determine whether Ferrari can challenge for the title is its development capacity throughout the season. Red Bull has proven to be the most efficient team in introducing constant improvements, while Ferrari has struggled to maintain the pace of evolution needed to compete until the end of the championship. Vasseur has placed particular emphasis on this aspect, ensuring that the team has a clear roadmap for updating the SF25, avoiding mistakes of the past where improvements did not offer the expected impact on track. Another key point is execution in the race. In 2022 and 2023, Ferrari missed several opportunities due to strategic errors in tire management, late decisions in the pits, or poor race readings. To fight for the title, it is not enough to have a fast car on Saturdays. The key is to make precise decisions on Sundays. Vasseur has worked on improving communication within the pit wall and ensuring that the team has the flexibility to adapt to the unforeseen events that often arise during a Grand Prix. The driver lineup will also play a key role in the fight for the championship. Charles Leclerc has proven to be one of the fastest drivers over one lap, but he still needs to consolidate his consistency in the race to maximize points each weekend. With the arrival of Lewis Hamilton, Ferrari gains a driver with 7 world titles and an unrivaled ability to manage races under pressure. The key will be how Ferrari manages the dynamic between the two drivers. If they can work together without generating internal conflict, the combination of experience and pure speed could be one of the strongest on the grid. The Red Bull factor remains an unknown for Ferrari. The Austrian team has dominated recent seasons thanks to the combination of an exceptional car and the talent of Max Verstappen. To break this hegemony, Ferrari not only needs to improve its performance, but also find a way to minimize its rivals' chances. In this regard, the development of the SF25 has focused on reducing tire degradation, an area in which Red Bull has been superior in recent years. The 2024 season will be a definitive test for the Scuderia. The changes implemented by Vasseur, the new focus on technical evolution, and the combination of Leclerc and Hamilton offer a promising scenario, but the real challenge will be to demonstrate on track that Ferrari can maintain the consistency necessary to aspire to the title. It is not just about winning isolated races, but about building a solid campaign that allows the team to reach the final stretch of the championship with real chances of being champion. At this point, the question that really matters is whether Ferrari has managed to build the foundations to challenge for a championship again, or whether, once again, it will be relegated by the forcefulness of Red Bull and the strategic solidity of Mercedes. The arrival of Fred Vasseur has transformed the internal structure of the team. The SF25 is practically a completely new car, and the combination of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton could be one of the strongest on the grid. But all that is just hypothesis until the real test begins in Melbourne. If Ferrari wants to return to the top, it will need more than just speed. It will be essential to maintain a consistent development strategy throughout the season, avoid the management errors in the race that have cost key points in recent years, and above all, consolidate a team that does not rely on emotional impulses, but on precise analysis and well-founded decisions. The first races of the year will give a clear signal of where Ferrari stands in relation to Red Bull and Mercedes. If the SF25 is competitive from the start and the team executes its strategies with precision, the chance of challenging for the title will remain alive. But if the same old problems appear, such as pit errors, a lack of technical evolution, or poor management of the driver duo, then Vasseur's initial optimism could quickly fade. The outcome of this story will be written on the track, but now the question remains: does Ferrari really have what it takes to win again, or will this be another year of broken promises? Leave your opinion in the comments and subscribe to not miss the analysis after the Australian Grand Prix, where we will see if the Scuderia has finally found the way back to glory or if there is still a long way to go.